I'm out here at Holston Lake, riding my bike, taking it easy, having a nice day. Oh, by the way, I got a new bike, Z900. It's 2023. I decided to go ahead and pick it up. I actually got a really good deal on it. After I went to the dealer, had the $1,000 off from Kawasaki, then the additional $500 off from the demo event over this last weekend. Out the door, I got this bike for $9,900 and some change. The closest dealer around wanted, I think, about $10,600 or so. So, actually pretty nice. As you can see, I've only got 117 miles on it. So just breaking it in. So I'm not going to be hitting it too hard today. I still have the factory sealing on the tires too. Slowly working that off as well. I think by next week I'll be able to hit it a little bit harder. And I'm still getting used to the bike, so that's going to take me a little bit as well. The other bike that I still have the KLX 300 SM, but I picked this one up as well. I'm going to be converting the KLX into a more off-road thing, I think. I'm going to use it for going camping and stuff, which I had mentioned that previously in my videos. But it's going to give me the opportunity to do that. Oops, hit the horn. It's going to give me the opportunity to go and have a road-only bike and then a dual sport, which is probably what I should have went with to begin with. But I did had a lot of fun on that KLX, taking it on the road, doing the twisties and such. So I don't regret buying that bike first, but it definitely made me realize that I wanted more power, and I'm pretty sure this bike has the power that I wanted. Not that I get to feel it much right now, because I need to get through that initial first oil change and braking cycle and yada yada. But just as the demo bike that I rode, this bike has been absolutely awesome. Feels good. Throttle is really responsive. It's a little too responsive when you're at very slow speeds and you just barely touch the throttle and it yanks back. I think I can map that out if I get a tune for the bike. Pretty sure I can get a new map for the throttle. So, just going to be out riding a little bit, pretty easy today. I'm going to go up the mountain here, see where it leads. I know where the mountain road leads to, I mean just see where it leads to where I'm going to be at today. It's already pretty late in the day. I actually have the time set correctly on this one, so 6:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's what time it is currently. So it's a beautiful day out. It's slightly chilly. Might be just because I'm up in the mountains. But I'm loving this bike so far. And I still really enjoy the KLX. Just going to be for two different purposes. At some point here in the near future, I've got my son getting out of school, and I think the two of us are going to go up and hit some of these mountain roads and go camping, and maybe I'll record some videos of that stuff too if y'all are interested in that. as of right now, just trying to break this bike in, put some miles on it, see if there's anything wrong with it. Had a really good experience at the dealership. I'm not going to name the dealership, but the dealership it's basically owned by the same person, but there's two dealerships. One is a Kawasaki and some others, and then the other one's like a Honda dealership. Kawasaki dealership, they were pretty rude to my son when we went and we were looking for a bike for him, so I don't really want to buy from them. But the other section of it with the Honda dealer, they were actually really nice, really helpful and stuff. They didn't know too much about the Kawasaki prices and the discounts, because they had the $1,000 off, and I also had the $500 coupon offer, the Cowie Cash. They didn't know too much about that, so they did have to research it, but they had no quarrels with it, and they researched it with just taking my word for it, you know. And it's a pretty good experience. Went in, seen the bike, got the price that I needed. It was actually a really good deal. So I went back to the bank, grabbed a check, and then took it to them and picked it up all in one day. Pretty hassle-free. So this bike I got on a 70-some month term. It's $178 or something like that. And then the other bike that I have, the KLX 300 SM, I financed just, I think it was like $2,500 less. I think it was $7,500 out the door for that one. And I got $152 a month for 60-month term on that bike. So I know there's a lot of people against financing bikes, but realistically, with insurance, if something happens to this bike, I'll just get another one. Whereas I'll be out however many months that I've been paying for the bike. For you guys that are paying full cash for it, you're out of that money if you don't have full coverage on those bikes. So that's how I see it. I might have a grand or two in a bike if something happens, and you know, I get a brand new bike. I start with a brand new bike and I just get another brand new bike. So that's my feeling on it. I'd rather give them breadcrumbs and have nice new things than to have to save up or whatever and buy one of these bikes with cash. I'd have to save 10 grand. With the used market, there's a lot of problems with that. My son's friend is finding that out. He's finding that out now with his R6. He's finding out that a lot of these used bikes aren't worth the money. That corner was so much more smoother than the KLX. On that KLX, I'd have to distribute my weight across the side of the bike, leaning it over and leaning more of my weight than the bike. Not on this one. I'm not leaning at all on it, and it's doing pretty good. Although I'm not trying to lean it too hard right now, due to the tires having that factory lubrication on them. I'm also keeping it in 6th gear so I can keep the RPMs low. This bike feels really good in these turns. It's got really good amount of power. I think this bike has 120 horsepower stock. I may be off on that number by a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it's around 120. 948 cc's. And I think it's got 77 foot-pounds of torque, if I remember correctly. But I will definitely get used to this bike. I need to get me some pants that I can drag my knee on. If I drag my knee on these khakis, they're gonna rip a hole right through to the pants through my knee. Definitely don't want that. Some of the guys that I ride with here have commented on that, because on that KLX my knee hits pretty close. It doesn't hit the ground, but it gets really close, and it's actually scared some of the guys. I thought it was funny, but you know, it is what it is. this bike feels awesome. I'm really happy with this purchase. The guy's driving with his blinkers on. They say that there's a bunch of signs for newer riders, but blinkers is one of them. Let's see how this bike likes his turn at 6th gear. This is a pretty steep hill. I've showed you guys this hill before. 6th gear, bogging the shit out of it. It does just fine. I really like the way that this engine sounds on this bike too. It's actually really nice. It's got that low grumble. Of course, I do have the stock exhaust on it, so it has a little bit quieter of a growl than it would if we had a different exhaust on it. I don't know that I'm really interested in a louder exhaust though, because that attracts attention. I know some of these other bikes with bigger CC engines, I can hear them for about 2 miles when they're coming down these roads. So I don't know that that's a good thing. I'd rather keep it nice and quiet and more stealthy. But we'll see, you know. I might end up changing to aftermarket exhaust. I don't know yet. I do like how the aftermarket exhausts do sound, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this bike's got tons of power. Even though I'm in these low RPM ranges in 6th gear, this bike still pulls. Whew, it is getting colder the higher up this mountain I go. This new jacket that I've got is a spring jacket or summer jacket, I guess it is. It's a summer jacket, and it is mesh, has mesh on it, and yeah, air is just passing right through. Can on the road. There on the road. Luckily they're not out in the road, they're just kind of on the side of the road. But this isn't something that I could have done on that other bike because it just didn't have enough power. I'd have to keep it in the RPM range where the power is on that KLX. So doing these twisties and stuff, I could have a lot of fun with it, but not as much as fun as I could have with this bike. I just got to get the factory lubrication off this bike, then I can hit these turns a little bit faster. It's going to take me some time to get used to this bike too. This bike has some quirks in it with the throttle. I mentioned it earlier where the throttle is really touchy right in the initial stages, so when I touch it like that, it jumps. I don't know if you can tell that in the camera, but just a little bit of throttle makes it jump. I can get used to that over time. It's not that used to it with the other bike. There's people with campers up here. I know people camping would. I don't know that I've ever seen a camper parked on the side of the road there. Ooh-wee, it's getting chilly. I wonder what the temperature is down through here. It's definitely got to be about 10 degrees colder than it was down lower on the mountain. Have I mentioned I really love this bike? I know I have. Just messing. This bike is really nice. The Z650 was also a really nice bike. If the other bike was cheaper, I probably would have went with that one. But this one, I got just a little bit more expensive than the Z650. So why would I go with the Z650 with its price point being so close to this one? This one's got so many more upgraded features. The 4-cylinder engine sounds amazing. The Z650 sounds good. This bike sounds way more better. This bike also comes standard with ABS. There's all those traction controls and all that stuff. I don't know if the 650 has those traction controls or not. I'd have to look that up. Not that it's really important to me or anything, but just saying, I don't know if it has it or not. This bike feels so planted. I'm not going very fast, but just the feeling of it. The other bike that I had going around these turns where I'm overweight for its suspension, it didn't feel good a lot of times in the slower speeds, but once I was up leaning the crap out of the bike, then it felt pretty good. But this bike feels good no matter what the speed is that I'm going. It was really nice. I can probably lean this bike way over before I scrape the pegs, unlike the other bike. I can tell that the pegs on this bike are a little bit higher. I don't know what the real difference is, but it certainly feels like there's a fair amount of distance between them. It might have something to do with the suspension, this and that, and I don't really know. I just feel like I can lean this bike over way further than the other bike. I do plan on getting a crash bar for this. Now I might do some stunts with it, like wheelies and stuff, but that's probably going to be a ways out. I was looking at the prices, and I think it's about $1,000 for the crash protection that I want to get. I was learning the wheelie the other bike, but I don't know, something gets me about having to drop the bike at like 8,000–9,000 RPMs to get the tire up. Further back on the seat, I know, but it wasn't that great. I know with practice, these guys, they can pop it up really easy with no problems, but mine's completely stock. It doesn't have a whole lot of power. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it or not, so I kept it stock. So I'm not sure if I'm going to mod it now or not, other than the tires and stuff. I might still just trade it in. Depends on how much usage I actually get out of it. At the moment, I'm planning to use it for going camping and stuff, but realistically, how often am I going to go camping? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. So right now, it's kind of just up in the air. Well, my son wants a Ninja 400 KRT edition, so maybe I'll just pay down the negative equity on the KLX and just trade it in for that, my son's bike. I went to put him on my insurance, and whew, they don't have like a split insurance type thing where I can get my son on his bike and I can get just me on my bike. They wanted to put my son's insurance on this Z900, even though he's technically not allowed to ride this bike. So I thought that was kind of crazy. It doubled my insurance, over doubled my insurance. So I might have to look at other insurance options on that. Maybe take the KLX off of my primary insurance and put it on a secondary insurance to get that one. Because it won't be that much with just the KLX, but they wanted to tie him into this Z600. He's only 15. It's kind of silly to me. Should be some way to exclude them on the insurance. Because it's not like I'm out here letting him ride this bike. I'm gonna have to get some heated grips for this bike, because the seat's nice and heated with the engine, but the grips not so much. My hands are getting a little cold out here. These Scorpion gloves, they got holes in them. They got other variations that don't have the holes in them, but I wanted these because I didn't want to be sweating to death in the summer. I can always put like another, like insulation in these gloves, maybe some rubber or something, I don't know. But the other ones you can't just take off, you know. You got to have that whatever you buy, that, you know, that's pretty much what you get. This bike feels so good. I really want to open it up, but I also know that I'm still in that break-in period, and I will be out of that break-in period soon enough. Then I will be able to turn that throttle a little bit further. Just gotta be patient. Also want to hit these turns a little bit faster, but roadkill. Yeah, that factory lubrication, I definitely don't want to let the tires come out from under me. That wouldn't be very fun. I don't like how that road drops off like that. I say that probably every time I come through here. Oof, it is getting cold up in here. I don't know if I should keep going. Go back to the sun is what I should probably do. Sun's shining here, but it definitely doesn't feel like it's as warm. Maybe that's why that little town's called Shady Valley. I forget a lot of time how steep this turn is. Probably don't look very steep on the camera. Listen to this engine bog. These turns, I'm like barely turning at all. This bike just feels so smooth. This engine's like, please shift down, please shift down. But even at 2K RPMs, this bike pulls. It's nice, nice and torquey. I'm gonna be loving this bike after I get it broke in. So yeah, with the other bike, you know, right off the bat, I could tell that there was some things that I did not like about it. I think it's gonna take me a while to determine some things I don't like about this bike. If I had to name anything right now, it would probably be that touchy throttle. Other than that, I don't know. It's got a nice sized gas tank. Took like $15 to fill that thing up. But other than that, I don't know. It's good. The headlight's good. KLX headlight isn't very good. You turn the KLX headlight on, and you know, it goes from the low beams to the high beams. Well, this bike and most other bikes, the high beams and the low beams are on at the same time. But on my KLX, I turn the high beams on, the low beams turn off, so the other light's just up in the sky. It's not very good at all. It's literally useless, and the low beam is not very bright, and it's like right here in front of you. It doesn't go far enough out. So like if I adjust the headlight up, then the low beam would be good, but then the high beam would be up in the sky. It makes no sense at all. So I'm not sure if they installed it incorrectly or what. I was gonna replace it with a LED headlight, which would fix the situation. But yeah, I think a lot of money's gonna go into this bike right now, though. That roll cage, that crash cage, I mean, it's about $1,000 plus tax. So, and then the other stuff, I definitely want to get a quick shifter on this bike. The gear changing isn't the best. Like I change gears and it pulls kind of hard, but with the quick shifter I can just blip through. That'll be nice. I rode the KRT, sorry, I rode the Ninja ZX6R with the quick shifter on it at the demo. That was amazing. If this bike had that, it would be so much better. So I gotta find one. I was looking online, and the one that is begins with an H. I can't remember what the name of it is. I'm gonna have to downshift on this one. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it begins with an H, and it is all sold out. I know that the other variations require like the Power Commander or one of those things, one of those EJKs or something, but I don't know that I want to do all that just yet. I don't know if I want to get it tuned just yet. I'm probably going to wait the 12 months to get out of warranty just in case there's anything wrong with this bike. But then I'll probably start modding that kind of stuff. So maybe the other one will come back in stock soon and I'll pick it up. I think this is about 300 bucks. So I'm looking at about $1,400 worth of mods right now, just with a few things. Not sure what else I should get right off the bat, but those things are what I'm thinking about. Other than, you know, gear, I still need to, so I got some motocross boots, but I'm not gonna ride this with motocross boots. That'd just be weird. And I need to get some pants, because yeah, when I start to do the leaning stuff on this bike, I want to be able to actually lean instead of scare everybody around me. 6 gear, just pulling up these hills at low speed. This is nice. This is really nice, actually. I'm not like going like really fast or anything, but being able to bog this engine in 6 gear like that, it's really nice. And still be able to pull, you know, pull it away. So if I crank it, you know, it takes a while to build up, but it does start pulling. And the closer it gets to that higher RPM range, when it gets to that peak power, it pulls even harder. All right there in 6 gear. I was cruising around 20 miles per hour like I'm doing right now. It's 6 gear. This is crazy. That other bike just don't have any power. Not like this one does. I need to figure out what all these blinking lights and stuff are. I need to actually read that manual. That'd probably be useful. The only thing I read in the manual was the break-in cycle on this bike, and I was looking at the dash controls to be able to change the sport mode, traction control, and all that stuff. So that's pretty easy. Oh, this bike is so nice. I'm gonna have to put a counter on how many times I say that in one video. Oh man, those tires, they feel so good. I know, stock tires, garbage, yada yada, that's what everybody says. But I've had pretty good success on the stock tires. They feel pretty planted on it, the bikes that I've rode. I usually ride those tires until there's no tread left on them to ride, and then I change them out. These Kirby's are pretty fun. This bike takes them like there's no problem at all. Still a little cautious of hitting them though. Faster, I mean. I gotta check that factory stuff out on it here later. See how much is left. I'm just incrementally leaning it over more and more. Just gotta scuff them up, I guess. Just gotta scuff those tires up to where they're not slick anymore. I don't want to try to do it all at once. I want to do it gradually over time. So I'm trying to rack up the miles on this bike anyway, so I can have that first oil change and then really open the bike up. Look at all these birds on the side of the road. What are these birds doing? so good. Oh, my nose itches. There we go. That's better. I really didn't have to slow down on this at all. Just getting used to the bike. Not really sure how it's going to react as yet on these curves. Still just really cautious. Trying to get through all this, learn the bike. I'll start progressively hitting turns harder, leaning further, and I'll be able to give a little bit more throttle. All just takes time, and the break-in period is a good time to learn the bike and stuff. You don't have to go balls to the walls when you're out learning the bikes, getting on a new bike. It's good to learn them first. This bike has a certain sound to it. Sounds kind of like it's laughing that when I decelerate. I don't know if you guys can hear it on the video. Let me open up my visor, see if you can hear it. See, it doesn't do it when I'm giving it throttle. Let's let it slow down a little bit here. That right there. I don't know if you can hear that or not. But it's like, wee. It's great. I've been told this bike matches my personality for some reason. Don't know what that means, but I'm okay with that because this is a nice bike. It must mean I have a nice personality, right? Or is it the aggression factor? I don't know. It is a little bit of an aggressive bike. Not anything like the ZX6R, but definitely has a little bit of an aggressive position. It just feels so amazing. I think that right there was probably the furthest I've leaned it so far. Felt good. Felt like I could lean it over a lot further. But I don't want to risk that just yet. Anyway guys, I'm going to ride around here for a little bit longer. Get probably another 100 miles on this thing today. I just wanted to make a quick video. I know, quick, it's probably been like 15-20 minutes. I have no idea how long it's been, because when I finish editing this video, you know, I always cut stuff out when I do dumb stuff or when I stutter. Nah, just kidding. I don't really stutter too often, but every now and then I forget what I'm saying, and then I have to re-say it later in the video. So you get those edits and stuff in there. But anyway, thanks for watching guys. Definitely glad that y'all are enjoying the content. I can see how my watch hours are going up, so y'all are definitely watching this stuff. If you'd like to see anything, just let me know. It's hard to know what y'all actually want to see if you don't comment, you know. But how do you feel about those camping videos? Go out, ride to places, camp. I know other guys are doing it. I have no idea how popular they are, but definitely sounds like something I'd want to do. So let me know what y'all think about that. Let me know what else you want to see. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.